What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is NCIS Season 17, Episode 10, The North Pole. So apologies again, because I'm still feeling a bit under the weather. Might end up being a sinus infection, not sure yet. But yeah, I'm trying to force myself to do these videos and even upload these videos, because I have one uploaded but not actually published yet. So I'm trying to do my best to actually try to stay on top of this, but it's just really tough when you wake up feeling dead to the world. But I'm still going to power through best I can. But yeah, this episode got interesting at the end. I will say maybe a little rushed with some parts of it. And I do feel like that's something that I wish the writers for the show could do a bit better. You know, I get the fact that the show, it's been an episodic show since the beginning. So to change that formula up now in season 17 may not work very well. It may not keep some longtime fans around because it might be like, oh, change, I hate change. But I don't know. I look at this episode and it was good, but I think about how much better it could have been, and I think I get a little disappointed because of that. Because I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't all that into it until that moment when you find out who Sahar actually is. And then I was fully invested. And now at the end of it, I'm like, well, she's gone again now. So now I'm just sitting here going, okay, moving on then. What's the second half of the season going to be about? Because it was a good wrap up, I thought, for a lot of the stories that have been building up. But now I have to wonder, where are we going to go? This would have worked a whole lot better if this were an end of the season type of thing, not a mid-season finale, I think. I assume this was the mid-season finale. I don't know for sure. But some examples of that, I think. If you look at when Ziva lost Adam, that scene could have been a lot more emotional if they had allowed it to build a bit more. You know, if we saw a few more scenes of what she and Adam went through, if we saw that scene where he told her that he loved her before he died, that might have also meant something too. And not just been like an afterthought of like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, did you know Adam loved her? I mean, I got the feeling, because they definitely shot a lot of those scenes like he seemed very caring, more than just a friend for her type of thing. And of course, you know, from my point of view, did I want to see them have a romantic scene together? No, because I like Ziva and Tony together perfectly fine. But it is a tragic story for Adam because he clearly cared for her and all the stuff that he did for her. I thought the scene with McGee in the what's it called? The morgue? Is that what it's called? But talking to his body, you know, saying thank you for everything you did for her. I thought that was also a really touching scene because he went through a lot. But the problem is we had to get through so much information in this one episode instead of maybe building it up for a few episodes, that a lot of these scenes just felt very rushed. They felt very quick. You know, Gibbs and Ziva get upstairs after she wanted to just bring down the building to get up to him and almost, you know, kill herself in the process. They get up there. She's like, he has no pulse. Uncuffs him. She starts pumping on his chest. Gibbs just gives like this kind of very quick, Ziva, he's gone. I'm just like, well, that sounded super caring. And then she just like cries on his chest and we cut to commercial. It was very quick and sudden, and there wasn't really any emotional build up to it. It was just done. So that for me shows just how much this show holds itself back by not trying to stretch out some of these stories more than just one episode at a time. You know, spending these other episodes just doing whatever. You know, the last episode that I watched before this one, the video gaming streaming one, we didn't need that episode. It was dumb, it was poorly written. Sure, they tried to be funny, but when I look at this story, I think, God, we wasted a whole episode on all those dumb jokes that were either out of touch or out of date. And then we get to this episode where I wanted more than one episode of it, and yet we only get one. So, yeah, it was very frustrating. However, I will give them props, because I assume, personally, the way that this episode seemed to be going, and I don't know if they did this intentionally or not, but it definitely seemed to be, oh, Odette. She's Sahar. I mean, they weren't really pushing that. They never really, I don't think, said that was a possibility, but in my head I'm like, that seems to be where they're going, and it seems something along the lines of this show would do. It's like, oh, this Odette lady, oh, you thought she was here to help, but she's not. Ooh, she's actually Sahar. I really thought that's where they were going with it, and I'm glad they didn't, because the whole time I was just sitting there pissed off because I'm like, it's gonna be Odette. Even when Adam's like, you know her, talking to Gibbs, but we thought he was talking to Ziva. I'm just sitting there going, God, it's gonna be Odette, and then I'm gonna be sitting here wondering why on earth she's been helping Ziva all this time. I'm sure they're gonna have some convoluted thing, but if she really wanted to kill Ziva, she could have just done it at any point. If she wanted to get back at Ziva, she could have killed any of them at any point. So it wouldn't make any sense for Odette to be Zahar, but I feel like that's what they're gonna go for. So when it turns out to be Sarah, which I will admit, maybe should have seen that coming. Because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Zahar, Sarah. It's an anagram. Sarah is an anagram for Zahar. That should have been easy to put together. I don't know why. I guess honestly I kind of forgot that her name was Sarah. But I don't know. Now I'm thinking back about it. I'm like, God, that should have been simple. I should have seen that coming. But no, but what it means for Gibbs, though, and this whole relationship that he's been building with Phineas, that's what really got me. I'm like, holy crap. That this whole meeting was not just this chance thing. It wasn't just some random, oh, Gibbs now gets to be a father figure for this kid. Whoop-de-doo. It actually meant something. I was kind of shocked. That did catch me off guard because I'm not used to these little side stories suddenly just, boom, something big happening to do with it. Sometimes it does, obviously. We've seen some other instances where there have been these little side stories that suddenly become a lot more meaningful. But I don't know, just something about this, it seems so random, it seems so odd, and I wasn't really thinking a whole lot about it because honestly the scenes between Gibbs and Phineas, it was nice, and it was kind of charming, and so I just assumed it was this nice little thing they're doing where Gibbs gets to be a dad again, because he didn't really get much of a chance before with his daughter. So for it to all of a sudden turn into this really sad story where Phineas, obviously, he doesn't know his mom is this crazy, psychotic terrorist, basically. So for him to lose her, and now Gibbs has to be the one to tell... I mean, that, for me, was like, holy crap, that's extremely sad. And I assume he's probably going to end up going to be with his father, more than likely, which... I'm kind of curious about that story now, because we saw her talking about, oh, you know, his dad, he won this court case or something like that where he gets to be in his life now, or he wants to take it to court. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that all plays in at this point, because I just assumed it was going to be these random little pop-in moments where suddenly the court case was going to be happening and she was going to need Gibbs' help to sort of keep Phineas out of it or something along those lines, or maybe Gibbs' help to find out something about the dad. But finding out now that she was Zahar, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know where this is going at this point. That I will say that is something, because this happened in the middle of the season. I think about all of these episodes left and the stuff you could have done to build that relationship even more between Gibbs and Phineas and Sarah. So by the end of the season, it's really emotional and sad, because it was sad in this, but I feel like it could have been even more heartbreaking by the end of it, because we really got to know her, we really got to know Phineas, and we really connected to them. As it is, we had 4 or 5 episodes with them at this first half of the season, and now we're just done with that story. There could have been these moments where we did see her go to the court case with her husband, and Gibbs fought to help her out, and he really was there for her through all of this, and maybe she loses custody of Phineas or has to do joint custody, and it's even more emotional. These moments that could have happened where she really gains Gibbs' trust, and then just breaks it at the end of the season when he finds out that she is Zahar. I do feel like there's a lot of missed potential, but for what it was an okay episode. All around, not great, not fantastic, but it was good. It was probably, I wouldn't say it's my favorite so far this season, but it was up there for this season at least, because I honestly can't rank throughout all of the seasons that I've seen because it's too many to count. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. On to the next one. I'll see you there. And now episode 11, In the Wind. So this was a nice little wrap-up for Ziva's story for this season. I assume that's what this was, because it certainly feels like the way this episode ended. She's gone, she's leaving the show. That's what the end of this, to me, seemed to be. But who knows? They could probably still bring her back at some point if they wanted to. But But yeah, I thought it was okay. I still don't get why they couldn't get Michael Weatherly to show up for just like a couple days just to give him a little cameo at the end. Like even just a cameo with the daughter, just to say something. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that they're just like, no, we can't see Tony at all. We just have to talk about him, but we're not going to show him. And it just seems weird to me. We did see a couple pictures, but I think those are pictures that we have seen before, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I thought this was a decent episode. The stuff with the kid was okay. I did think it was a little weird that he was just managing to sneak past them, just barely stay one step ahead of them trying to track him down the whole way. They did show he's a pretty smart kid, and obviously the whole connection with this gangster in Libya who apparently wants, I think this is supposed to be his nephew, so wanting him back and all that. I did think that was a nice little, I guess, twist to keep things more interesting instead of just, oh, he's just running away and we have to catch up to him. No, it's like people do want to find him and bad people want him for bad reasons, of course. So yeah, I like that added element of intensity trying to track him down. Victor, I will admit, it was kind of, I don't know, it seems a little weird that the team essentially tracked him down multiple times, and every single time he basically lied to them and then just kept getting tricked by him. I feel like at some point they would say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't take this guy at face value, and maybe we should just hold him here and try to just essentially get as much information out of him as we can, because he's clearly not telling the truth every single time we talk to him. So the fact that he was the one involved, I thought that was a little odd. I did find it hilarious, though, that the kid managed to trick him at the end. Just because, I don't know, something was kind of hilarious to me about the fact that you just got bested by a kid. You just got bested by a kid, man. Like, come on. You're not that good of a bad guy if all it takes is the kid hiding a knife in his sock and then pointing to the TSA agent and saying, hey, my dad told me to carry this. So that was pretty funny. What else happened in this episode? Because there was a few things I'm trying to remember now. That's how fuzzy my brain is from the sickness. There was a scene with Taurus that I liked at first, but then Jimmy and Casey both stepped in and had to mess up the scene. And it was the moment where essentially Taurus stands up to Gibbs and says, look, I'm coming with you. Because we've seen him, I think, before, how he is about kids with the whole trafficking ring that he broke up, and they talk about it again in this episode. So we know how intense he is about finding missing kids. So to see that moment, I was like, okay, I like it. And then as they're leaving, you got Jimmy and Casey, damn, double damn. I'm like, okay, now it's ruined. You just took a moment that was enjoyable, and I was like, holy crap, awesome. And then you ruined it by having your two, I hate to call Jimmy annoying because I still like Jimmy as a character, but he's definitely started to be a little bit more annoying this season, and I don't know if just me coming back to the show after watching so many other shows, if that sort of made it more apparent to me that he's annoying, or I don't know what it is. Maybe watching too much NCIS back-to-back is just messing with me, and the little nuances that when it's week to week, it doesn't bother me as much. Watching it back-to-back is a little bit more frustrating and annoying. But Jimmy started to get into that annoying side alongside Casey, so having those two sit there and comment on a scene that we should be feeling, it just takes me out of it. Because it makes me feel like, well, okay, this is just a show that was written to make me feel like, oh yes, this is how you guys should be feeling. Look, we'll have two of our characters spout how you guys should be feeling. You guys should be sitting there going, damn, like these characters are. It's just not, I don't know. Because I've seen this before in other shows. Like, I think the CW is probably the worst. All the DC shows that I watch on there, they have so many moments in that show of characters who feel like they need to hype up the other characters on the show. Like, they do something awesome, like, oh, yeah, you're so good. Oh, this was awesome, guys. Did you see what she did? Oh, Iris is so amazing. Oh, Felicity is so amazing. And whatever they did is just like, okay, I've seen other people do even better on this show. Or in Felicity's case, it was more so, no, I don't agree with what she did, but you're making your character say that what she did was good, and it was not good. Like, there are times that writers, I feel like they put these things into the show that they don't need to be there. Let the moment speak for itself. If Jimmy and Casey kind of give each other a look like that would be fine, but to have them, damn, double damn, it was stupid and it was pointless and I hated it. Sorry, I'm a little heated on it, but I don't know, because of those little moments like that, it just takes the show from being enjoyable to just kind of being not good this season. There have been several moments like that, I feel, where I've been okay or I've been on board and then just something takes me out of it and I'm just like, why is the writing this season so bad? Is it just because it's season 17 and they're running out of ideas and so they're just trying some different stuff that isn't working? Or is it just because it's season 17 and I've seen this show so much that I'm starting to notice all the little nitpicky critiques that maybe I pushed aside because I was enjoying it, but now you should have grown out of that. You should be learning, and instead it feels like we're regressing. So yeah, there was one other thing that oh yes, right, the Ziva thing. This one really, really pissed me off because I had the sense. Ziva's talking about, she's trying to get a hold of Tony. Tony's not responding. I'm thinking, are they trying to build up to something? And then they just sort of throw this false flag in there that really, I don't know. I'm sitting here going, why? Why would you do this where you make me think maybe something is wrong? Maybe the bad guys have finally gotten to Tony and what's her name? Why can I not remember her name? Holly. God, I swear, names are just not my thing. I'll meet somebody and then a week later I'll be like, your name was what again? But yeah, making me think that maybe they got to Tony and Holly, just possibly. And then she looks at her phone. Oh my God. I'm just like, okay. See, this would be a lot more believable if she wasn't like just this pause of tension. Like if she was like, they got her. Like something along those lines. Then I would have been like, holy crap, so it was building to something. But when she went, oh my God, I'm like, okay, you're playing with me right now, aren't you? You're making me feel like something's wrong. And then you're just going to be like, oh my God, she got a new dress or something like that. And sure enough, it was that, oh my God, she's beautiful. I'm sorry, what parent that hasn't seen their kid in so long looks at them with a look of almost terror in their eyes and goes, oh my God, who does that? Like, that's the thing. If the look on her face was kind of like a happy or a sad smile, happy smile, whatever, like there was a sense of like she just saw something that's blowing her away, then I would have been a bit more forgiving. But they literally made her look like something was wrong. They made her look like she was scared when she said, oh my God. You clearly are trying to make us, the audience, think something is wrong, something is happened to Tony and Tolly, and I hate you for it. I hate you for it because you don't need to do that. You don't need to throw in those moments of false tension and then just sweep the rug out from under us like, ha, I gotcha. She was saying, oh my God, because she can't believe how beautiful her daughter is. Ha, yeah. You felt scared for a second, didn't ya? So yeah, this episode, again, it was fine for the most part, but those two moments for me just really got under my skin for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why in particular both of those moments pissed me off as much as they did. Maybe it's just, again, the sickness. It might be messing with me a little bit. It might be making me a little bit more aggravated to these little things that most of the time are just kind of nitpicky and you're just like, yeah, that was stupid. Maybe that's why I'm reacting as I am. But both of those moments really just took this episode from, I'd give it about a 7 out of 10. I want to throw it down on the ground, stomp it, and be like, negative 10 out of 10! But I know that's not the case. I know this, again, it's just me. It's just those moments pissed me off in particular. Everybody else probably just sat there and go, whatever, that's dumb. But whatever the case, that's it for this episode. On to the final of these three. I'll see you there. And now episode 12, Flight Plan. So, case for this one was pretty straightforward. One of those typical, it looks like this one person did it, they're tracking him down, they're looking for who they think is the true killer, and it's not them either. It turns out to be somebody else entirely, and it just, I don't know, I kind of expected that. I didn't know exactly who it was going to be in the end, but I kind of figured because they were going after her and they assumed it was her. Then she calls, and I'm like, okay, so it's not her. And then she starts blaming her CO, and I'm like, so it's not him either, because that would be too obvious. So I'm just waiting for them to be like, all right, so who actually did it? So in that sense, this case was fairly straightforward. It was a simple, formulaic episode. The stuff that I enjoyed about this was mainly just kind of the side story stuff, and that's just because what the show typically does well, some of the stuff that I enjoy watching, is the side story character-driven stuff. And in this one, the whole McGee getting a vasectomy joke, I mean, that was the stuff that I was actually enjoying, and I was watching, waiting to see what was going to happen next. Who was going to give him what advice next? Because, I don't know, it's kind of funny just to see them talk about it, seeing McGee's reaction. I don't know, I thought it was funny. Other people might think it's stupid, but I thought it was probably my favorite part of the episode, just because the case was so bland and generic. That stuff made me laugh, and I think again that's what the show typically does well to keep people watching for so long, is the character-driven stories on the side that really, they make you laugh, or they make you care about these people. They make them seem like they're just real people, not just these mindless drones to do a job type of thing. So yeah, the jokes all around were pretty good. And honestly, outside of that, there wasn't much else. You know, it was either the case or it was McGee's vasectomy stuff, and that was pretty much it. And I don't know, I do feel like those episodes of NCIS are my least favorite, in the sense that I want a bit more. I want a bit more than just, well, you've got the case going on, and then you've got one side story with one of the characters going on. I prefer whenever we've got a few different things to talk about. I mean, honestly, I thought they were going to bring up some of the stuff that happened with Ziva a bit more. Because, I mean, some of the stuff that they had to deal with, Gibbs dealing with Phineas going to this other family, like, does he still talk to him? Is he going to see him anymore? I don't know. We didn't talk about it at all in this one. Ziva telling Taurus, hey, stop being a wuss. Talk to her about Bishop. Are they going to push that story forward anymore? Well, not in this episode. Don't even reference it. So, I don't know. It feels like there are these episodes where it's just, we put a lot of these side stories to rest to talk about this other side story. And I don't really like when that happens, because I want to see these stories flourish, and I want to see them given a bit more time than just, well, we have this one episode and then it's done. We have another episode about it and then it's done. We'll have another episode that finishes it off like 5 episodes down the line, and it's just not as enjoyable for me in that sense. And again, I don't know if this is something that's always been done with NCIS, or if this is just stuff that I'm noticing now because whether I'm tired, whether it's because of my sickness, whatever. But this season in particular, I feel like has not really been as enjoyable as I feel like a lot of the past seasons have been. And not that this has been a fantastic show or anything, but I've at least had fun watching. I've at least enjoyed myself watching it. And now it's just kind of, I'm sitting here going, well, I have an issue with that. That wasn't that exciting. That was very predictable. That's kind of where I am right now with it. So, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with the show or with me. But let me know in the comments, because that's pretty much all I have for this episode. So let me know what you think about these 3 episodes. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future NCIS reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.